What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. All right, here we are on this, the 12th day of June, sitting at about 1.459 cents. 8 hours, 51 minutes left in the day here. We did find support right at this area in the 4-hour time frame on the RSI that we were looking for, right? If you're looking at this here from the lows coming up, it just makes a lot of sense that we'd find support here. Slowly meander, making our way up. Maybe we have a nice little move up. I don't know how it's going to look. We kind of consolidate, whatever, and then we see another move up here. I don't know, but over time, all I'm trying to say is that this next move, however it happens, whether we just go straight to the overbought zone, whether we find turbulence along the way, whatever it is, we're going to get into this overbought zone where over this past week or so we have not been in the overbought zone. We've been rejecting at prices that are lower, forming higher lows along the way. I'm thinking that we're going to see some fireworks fly. We're seeing the price turn around in like the reference to this downward trend, right? You're kind of turning here. You've got a nice little like cup going on, and I think that that's going to immediately reverse the price to the upside, and we're going to see some good stuff happen over the next couple of days, but predominantly next week. I really think this is setting us up for a very bullish week next week, and Bitcoin looks the same. A lot of different cryptos. Ethereum looks the same. Like, next week is really setting up to be a good week, you guys. Here we are at the lows right now of this overall range, getting set up for a miraculous move, a very miraculous move. If we look at this here, this bull flag, for anybody who might have missed the picture, I think we've talked about it only for the last 2 months now. I've probably measured this. I had to have measured this over 100 times by now. Like this exact measurement, low to high measurement, putting it at the base of the flag here, we'd go up to about 5 cents, just above 5 cents, something that's right around this high. Our measure move for this bull flag is right around this high, and it wouldn't surprise me if we went even a little bit higher than that, or maybe we stopped right there, whatever, but something in that area between about like 4.9 to 6 cents, something in that area there. That's where we're going to go. Of course, we're going to go higher than that. Of course, we're not going to stop there. I want to look at the XCN BTC chart and just see if there's anything we can deduce from that real quick. Hold on. Let's see. I mean, that kind of looks like a nice double bottom there. The chart, this chart is very low volume, very low liquidity. You can tell just by the way that it looks. It looks so odd, but that still is a double bottom. Even in this odd chart, that is a double bottom. More obvious there. Very powerful signal. Double bottoms in the Bitcoin comparison is definitely a powerful signal, you guys. 4-hour time frame suggests then that the coming days, the coming like 3 to 5 days, should be to the upside. That's my expectation, which agrees, right? And so if Bitcoin's moving up, OnyxCoin will move up more, is all that this is saying here, right? And that should be obvious, right, for most altcoins. Still within this, I don't know if this is a bull flag because that is just so far down, but still, let's see, actually, from a low to a high, where'd you go? Right at the 786 there. Golden ratio 382 down to the 786, and then you move up, you'll break out, and then you'll start going up to higher prices. I'm assuming, let's see here, from a high to a low overall. Oh, look at that. You went to your 786 there as well, actually. But this is actually something that I talked about in the Bitcoin price. If you rip through your golden ratio and you stop up here and you get back below it relatively immediately, you tend to go to your 236 or lower. So this is actually a very normal move all the way down. It doesn't have to happen immediately, just the going below the golden ratio has to happen immediately if you want to see that kind of reaction. But from here, I would expect that we probably don't spend too much time at the 786, right? We're not going to find resistance at the golden ratio. That's not my expectation. I think that we are just going to move up. What's that going to do? What's that going to do for the price? I'm kind of curious. Let's just see, actually. Google calculator. Let's say we do just rip right up to here or higher. I would assume we go higher than this by the end of this next move, but let's just see. What is that? How many zeros is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros, 475. Let's just say we're somewhere around there. 6 zeros, 475 times what will Bitcoin's price be around that time? That's a good question. Let's just assume it's at the same price. Because if it's at the same price, then we know OnyxCoin will just be at a higher price than what it says it is right now. Let's say we're at 108K, okay? Because I'm assuming we'll probably be at least at 108K by the time OnyxCoin moves up. 5 cents, yeah, guys. I think it's looking good that we do see on this bull flag, we do see a move that takes us above 5 cents. I really do think it's looking good. I just wonder real quick, too. I want to do this one more time. Hold on. Let's see. What if Bitcoin was at 120K? 21? 120. Let's say 120. All right, 120. 5.7. Yeah, maybe 6 cents. Maybe. But something that is a little bit larger than what this move is here. I think that that's what we're going to see coming out of this. I think we will reach for that 6 cent area, because I would expect potentially by the time OnyxCoin makes this next move up, Bitcoin will be around 120K. That is my expectation, but I just wanted to see what will be above. I really do think we'll be above 5 cents. If not, it is possible we could stop at lower prices, but we'll still be around 5 cents. We'll stop at lower prices compared to Bitcoin, which would result in lower prices to the US dollar, but that would still put us around 5 cents, even if we stopped at the 886. With the current retracement, with how we're reacting here, I don't expect that we stop at the 786. We'll probably at least go to the 886 or higher on this next phase up, right? This stuff, this doesn't explain like bullishness or bearishness. It's more like volatility right now. And with volatile moves, you can get some pretty big swings, and typically with the fibs, as you're progressing, as you're being productive, you don't expect to see a lower high. You'd expect to see a higher high, right? So that's what I'm going off of there. Let's see. Let's get into the short-term stuff, and then we'll wind down from there, all right? 1 hour time frame, a little bit of a BART going on right here. That happens with low volume. This is, I think, is it a bullish BART or a bear? I guess it'd be a bearish BART, right? Because you've got the BART here, and then it went down, so bearish BART. But it didn't come all the way down to this low, so that in itself is kind of bullish. The 1 hour RSI looks like it wants to break out of this downward time frame here, right? But you're not quite doing it yet. Maybe you come down a little bit more, and then you bounce off your oversold zone, get a higher low in the RSI there. If you were to go a little bit lower, you're at 1.45 cents now. Maybe you see price go right down to here, and then that's that, right? Maybe that's all it is. Maybe you do go down here and you form a double bottom on the US dollar pair. If we're looking at this on a 4 hour time frame, but actually let me complete the thought here. When we do break out of this 1 hour time frame, I think that'll solidify that whatever low we have, whether it's this one or a slightly lower low than that, that'll solidify that we have found our low and that we're ready to start moving up again, right? Especially given the context that we are kind of rounding out this bottom here. I would think that soon enough we'll validate this as a low. All it's going to take is breaking out of this, which we're very close to doing. We might just do that. We might not even go lower, but expect the worst, or prepare for the worst, expect the best, right? That's what they say. 4 hour time frame. Yeah, I wouldn't expect that any 4 hour time frames close lower than this. If we were to go lower than those lows, it'd be in that same 4 hour we'd wick, and then we'd come back up. You know what I mean? I really do think that this ascending trend line, I can't draw a straight line to save my life, man. Come on now. This ascending trend line here will prevail. I think it will prevail, and it will send us higher. But how is it going to be? You know, when we bounce here this time, if we're looking at it, we did this on the first low. We came up, then we came down, and then on the second low, that's whenever we had a powerful move. And then when we found our next low, we came up, we came down, and that's when we had our powerful move. And we take our next low, we come up, we come down, and that's when we have a powerful move, something like that, right? It could be in that kind of essence of a setup there. I would think sometime like Monday or Tuesday next week would be when OnyxCoin is really ripping to the upside. We're still going to move up between now and then. I do think we'll be at higher prices. We'll be at like 1.6, 1.7 cents by the end of this week probably, if not higher. But next week is definitely set up to be very bullish, man. Not just for XCN, but for all of crypto. It's going to be a good time. What else can we talk about? Weekly time frame looks bullish. I mean, closing this week green, and I think we will, 3 days, 9 hours left. That actually is going to be very important, because here we've got this ascending trend line as well that we're trying to maintain and respect. Let me just draw that a little bit better, right? And if we can close this green, we'll be bouncing right off of this line right here, as we have essentially since 2023, since 2024. And typically when we bounce off of this, it marks a significant low area, and then we get set up for our next phases higher when we get into the overbought zone. You know, we see some glorious stuff happen. This is a very large phase of consolidation right here. It's a very large bull flag. I think it's super obvious on a weekly time frame that this is a bull flag, and we have not broken out of it to the downside, right? It's very obvious. We were looking like we were going to last week, but nope, we're looking pretty good now. Keep coming. Keep climbing, keep moving to the upside. Okay, 3 days, 9 hours left. keep moving to the upside. That way we can close this week to the green and get a bounce off of this line and see some trajectory that takes us into the overbought zone there. That would be really nice. I wonder what the monthly time frame looks like, just for fun. We don't ever check the monthly time frame because it's just such a new chart. Let's see. Oh, not the 2 month, definitely not. We don't even, look at that. We don't even, wait, I was about to say we don't even have an RSI. That didn't make sense because we have more than 10 months of existence. But hey, got overbought. Oh man. Oh man, you guys. Look, the monthly RSI is weird, okay? Monthly RSI, in my experience, it doesn't really respect the rules like all the other time frames does. It does on like a fundamental basis, but it's kind of odd. Okay, the monthly RSI is kind of, you can have bullish divergence and bearish divergence outside of the overbought and oversold zones. It's weird. It's just different. Okay, in my experience, the monthly RSIs are a little bit weird, but still, the idea is the higher up you are, the stronger you are, the lower you are, the weaker you are, right? It's very simple. It's relative strength index. It's literally a reading of your relative strength, okay? My relative strength index, I say my, it's TradingViews. It's ours. We all have access to this. No, it's not just like a secret that I'm keeping, but it's set to a 10 read. I have it set to a little bit faster, a little shorter length. This encapsulates the last 10 months, right? The RSI right here. It's relative to the last 10 months. So we're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have a point, trust me. 7, 8, 9, 10. So within this, we definitely have this large move, okay? In this large move, and man, I wish I'd never look at the monthly time frame. If we looked at this, that would have been way more obvious that we go, look at what we did, guys. How many times over the past like month have I talked about when you reject the overbought zone, you go down to the 50? That would have been so helpful. I probably would have been in denial still and think we were going to rip to the upside at any moment, but damn, man, that would have been perfect. We got to pay attention to that next time on whatever we're looking at, even if it is a short existed chart. Damn, that monthly, I didn't think the monthly RSI would be helpful because it's just so new, but bouncing right off the 50 like this, let me just explain why I'm beating around the bush, I guess. Because I'm trying to butter the bread before we get to the sandwich here, man. It's going to be good. Getting overbought like this and then out, that's not a good thing. Of course, you're going to go down to the 50, but or you would at least expect to go to the 50, if not lower. In rare bullish cases, you bounce off the 60 after rejecting the overbought zone, but we weren't expecting that there. Maybe I was expecting that, but it didn't happen here. Bouncing off the 50 is a good thing. It's probably one of the more bullish results, okay? And this month of June, I think, is going to close green, right? So we're going to look, last month is red, so you got a little pivot here, but this month's going to close green, so you're probably going to, instead of having it point down like this, you're going to have it point up. What I'm trying to get to, I'm doing a bad job of getting to it, is that typically, when you see this and then you see this, my expectation would be once we go back, we're probably not going to reject the overbought zone. We're probably going to get into it, right? We're probably going to get into it. And if we get into it, and this is all relative to what we're seeing here, we're going to get a stronger reading. Stronger reading might imply a, right? Low to high, that was a 42x. Low to high, what's a stronger move here? I mean, maybe we see, I don't know, 42x right there, 32 cents, 33 cents or higher. Maybe we're not bullish enough on OnyxCoin, guys. Maybe we're not. I don't know. That's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. I'm definitely excited. And the thing is, too, let's be real, too, looking at it, you started down here. You started all the way. Actually, you started right down here on the RSI, right? And you had all that to move up. So in that kind of aspect, you're starting at a higher price. You could see just as much of growth here, and then you would actually get a stronger reading, and maybe even at a very similar move. But all I'm trying to say by this is, if we're getting into the overbought zone on the monthly time frame, I've already been convinced. I don't need to see more things to convince me that we're going to see new all-time highs on this next move. But the more things I see, the more I am convinced. I don't need it. I'm already very convinced. But dude, this is if there was any need for a nail in the coffin right now, we've got so many nails in the coffin. This looks pretty convincing. As long as this month closes green, as long as we can get a monthly close above that month, and I think we will by the end of this month. It doesn't have to be by the end of this month, but I think we will. I think this month will be the month that we close above that. It's inevitable, man. We're going to go to new all-time highs. It's genuinely inevitable. I'm curious to see what's this real quick. We'll end the video here in a second, okay? 2618 down to the 1414. Moving on up, 3618, 3786. Yeah, these deeper fibs I don't really jive with them. I'm not as familiar with the deeper fibs so much. I just put them, I space them out after the 3618, 4618, 5618, 7618. You know, just for fun. Sometimes on the shorter time frames, sometimes that happens, but I've never really found any kind of commonality with these. Maybe I should try harder and I could better understand them. I'm better off with like anything between these areas here, really. Maybe even the 3618 at times, but that's all I got, guys. I'm rambling at this point. Things look good. Things look good. And I'm just as convinced, if not more convinced now than I have been that we're moving up higher. I'll see you on the next one. Hit the like button, subscribe. 26 to 32 cents, or maybe even higher, is where we're going to be by the end of July, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.